The reason behind all Clash at the Castle's botches revealed, CM Punk buries a reporter, AJ Styles wrestling for another promotion, and more. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Fantasy booking is one of the most fun things to do as a wrestling fan. We talk to our friends and recast the initial WCW and ECW rosters for the Invasion angle. We host podcasts and say this is the way Gunther should win his first world title. We get drunk down in the pub and lay out how WWE really could have made a success of Alex Riley. Rage! But oh, potential Icaruses, be wary of flying too close to the sun and suggesting your fantasy booking to an actual pro wrestler, especially if that pro wrestler is CM Punk in a post-show media scrum while he's eating baked goods. The baked goods only make him more powerful. With almost as much disdain as thinking Nick Houseman was friends with Colt Cabana, Punk answered a question at the post-Clash at the Castle media scrum on Saturday night.
And I think the first match between you both should just be a Hell in a Cell match right out the gate. What do you make of that? And is there anyone else on the Raw roster that you've not faced yet in this run that you'd love to face?
I mean this with all... What was your name? Jamal. I mean this all due respect. This is why I'm happy that you do not run a professional wrestling company. First match is a Hell in the Cell. Please. Brother, you got to take that fantasy booking
You can pinpoint the actual moment Punk decided he was going to bury this guy. There it is! That shake of the head right on the Hell in a Cell match right out the gate. Of course, booking Hell in a Cell for the first match in a feud is way too much, way too soon. We all know the first match in a feud should be a Monsters Ball.
I don't know if you know this about me. I like TNA from the mid-2000s.
What is this match? I've never heard of it.
Oh, the Monsters Ball match.
I've heard of it.
So the Monsters Ball match is that all of the wrestlers are locked in cupboards the night before the show.
No!
For 24 hours, and they're not given food, water, or light. So when they come out to the ring, they're like rabid animals.
No, Luke! Luke, no!
And then they have a hardcore match.
An interesting note on Punk's attire during this interview, he's wearing a top from the Glasgow-based Celtic Football Club, the sworn enemies of other Glasgow-based football club Rangers, which is supported by Drew McIntyre. It's likely a meta comment on how both men were babyfaces on Saturday night, depending on whose team you support. And anyway, we can all agree who the biggest heel was at Clash at the Castle. Those goddamn ropes! Controversial ending aside, where Punk screwed McIntyre out of winning the World Heavyweight Championship in his home country, the main issue with Clash at the Castle was its botches. First, Jade Cargill slipped when entering the ring with a top rope springboard on her hot tag, a botch which she didn't really recover from in the closing few minutes, prompting a disproportionate amount of criticism against her online. Then in the main event, Damian Priest slipped when trying to do a step-up senton to the outside, scarily tumbling and getting his foot caught in the ropes. Priest valiantly worked through the rest of the match, at times on just one leg. But Cargill and Priest weren't the only ones having issues with the ropes. As people have gone back and rewatched the show, there are numerous instances where the ropes went into business for themselves, or the wrestlers had to work their moves around them. Sami Zayn struggled to clothesline Chad Gable over the top rope to the outside. Bayley hit her elbow drop off the second rope on Piper Niven rather than the top, and it's also speculated that Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles' suplex over the top rope outside had an awkward landing. That means every match on the card had at least one instance of the ropes affecting moves. And it seems WWE was aware of the issue from the very start, as the best referee in the business, Rudy Charles, can be seen telling AJ something about the ropes in the opening match. So we know the ropes are to blame for the issues on the night. But what exactly were the ropes doing wrong? One potential explanation blames it on the vinyl electrical tape WWE uses to cover their fiber ropes, noting that other wrestlers have slipped on it before. But WWE always uses that tape, so it's unlikely this is the reason, as it'd be happening way more often otherwise. The other potential reason is that the ropes were too tight, potentially making it harder to do the springboard moves Cargill and Priest attempted, or the clothesline to the outside with Sami and Chad. Although if that was the case, WWE would have presumably adjusted the type politeness during one of the down periods between matches. Thankfully, Priest was said to be doing fine after the match, hanging out with other talent after the show. Despite mentioning his leg felt like trash in the media scrum, Fightful Select is reporting Damien was effectively selling during the match, which gained him a lot of praise backstage for his performance. F4W writes that while nobody knows for sure until Priest gets his knee properly checked out, the feeling is that he dodged a bullet and things were hopeful. Punk, meanwhile, is hoping to be cleared imminently. He revealed at the media scrum, "I can tell you that my arm feels amazing. I got permission to skip Raw in Corpus Christi to go home to Chicago to see my doctors with the idea that I'm going to be cleared." I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. He's hoping he'll appear on Friday's episode of SmackDown to announce his return to the ring. Punk has managed only one on-screen match in the 7 months he's been with WWE, the Royal Rumble that he got hurt in. So he spent the rest of the time lapping up that Paul Levesque Kool-Aid. Punk and Triple H, once sworn enemies, now appear to be the bestest of buds, as Levesque said at the media scrum. "I cannot tell you how happy I am to have him back. I cannot tell you how exciting it is for me to see the Phil Brooks that I wanted to see back in his last run. And while maybe my efforts to get that were taken wrong and it's what led to friction, I always knew the Phil Brooks that I see today was inside there. He just couldn't express it in the right way." As much as WWE has changed, he has changed, and I've got to tell you, it's amazing. I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited to not just work with him, but to be around him. He's a pleasure to be around in the locker room. He's a pleasure to be around as a performer. And Punk said just as nice things about the changing culture Levesque and he have created. "The climate has changed. It's a completely different culture. Somebody here told me that they were extremely happy that I was back to experience the atmosphere and the culture that I started to grow here. It's just a much better place. I'm older, I'm wiser. It's a great crew." There's so many good vibes in WWE right now, it's even flown through the forbidden back door into other promotions. PW Insider is reporting that, despite effectively the whole top creative and management team being fired over the last few months, morale in TNA right now is overwhelmingly positive, which you'd assume is driven by its working relationship with WWE. They were also boosted by Jeff Hardy's third return to the promotion at Fridays Against All Odds PLE, saving his brother from a beatdown from the system after his deal with AEW expired the same day. Fightful is reporting that both Matt and Jeff are technically still free agents, as both are working in TNA without contracts. Matt had only originally agreed to appear short-term for the promotion, but more dates and plans have now been added, which could include his wife Rebby Hardy properly returning to the ring, which would be her first match since 2016. But TNA isn't the only wrestling promotion Levesque is working with, because it seems WWE's forbidden back door is wide open. Following AJ saying "I quit" in his WWE Championship match against Cody Rhodes on Saturday night, Pro Wrestling Noah has announced Styles will be coming to Japan to face wrestling legend Marufuji at Budokan Hall on the 13th of July. This marks the second time WWE have sent a main roster name to Noah, with Shinsuke Nakamura wrestling Keiji Muto in 2023. And this happened just days after Io Sky was announced to appear for the new all-women's promotion Marigold, which also takes place on the 13th of July. It really seems that WWE is aligning with as many non-New Japan promotions in Japan as possible in the global interpromotional war with New Japan's partner, AEW. Now go watch my review of Clash at the Castle, where there were calls for CM Punk to be fired.